If you're an unreasonably reasonable person and want to make sick gains in the gym, pick up a Radical Centrist t-shirt at some Black Guy's Teespring store. Links in the description below.
Supreme victory!
Dude, I'd be so happy if I had a Korean girlfriend. Or Japanese or anything. I just love Asians in general. Hell, I'll even take the BTS dudes. I mean, they pretty much look like women anyway. Hashtag H3H3 is over party. Sounds really stupid, and it is. But it's been actually kind of funny as well. There's a lot of things to unpack, and the first things you guys need to understand is, well, you guys already understand what cancel culture is, but you also need to understand K-pop and its stans. I hate using that term stan, you know, the thing from Eminem's song Stan. Like, if you're an ultra super fan, you're like a major fanatic, you're considered a stan now. But K-pop, they legitimately have stans. Like, I actually know someone who's a stan. Like, it bleeds into my life. Like, it's a real thing. And we gotta break all this shit down. Now, the first time I realized that K-pop was a force to be reckoned with, I was watching the Colbert Report, and I don't remember what year it was, but it happened to be well over a decade ago. And there was one of those magazines' most influential people, and Steve Colbert was number 2, and number 1 was Rain, a K-pop singer. And you know, I never heard of him, but obviously he must be really huge to be number 1. And Stephen Colbert and Rain were doing this fake little beef, and then Rain did a movie called Ninja Assassin, and that's when I'm like, well, I like this guy. This guy's fucking sweet, and I'm cool with Korea and K-pop. You know, I never really had a problem with K-pop or like J-pop or anything like that. There's some little thing that's cute about it. I absolutely adore just Asian women, you know, Korean women, Japanese women, K-pop, J-pop. I don't give a fuck, dude. That shit is delicious. But then it started to get a little bit weird when the guys started to make themselves look like the girls, and I'm like, well, this is a little interesting. I don't know what this is about, but I think that's when the stans really started to get absolutely insane, because I didn't see that with that guy Rain. That Rain looked like a regular guy to me, at least when I saw him, and especially Ninja Assassin. But then it just really took off, and it's all about just all of those guys like BTS just looking as effeminate as absolute possible. And this is where the conflict between H3H3 and K-pop stans ensued.
Gone sexual!
So H3H3, Ethan Klein, has a podcast, the H3 Podcast, which I actually do listen to, and I like where it's at right now. I think it's very developed. I think they're really gotten their stride. Their team, their producers and everybody, they're well-known people in that podcasting community as far as like the fans and stuff go. They're really developing a lot of stuff and a lot of lore, which I really like. I love the behind the scenes. When there's people and producers start getting involved in their podcast, and I think they're doing it very well. I think they have great chemistry, even though Ian the intern is a little weird. He's a little weird, and I was really disappointed when he nuked that whole Bachelor segment, because I thought that was a fantastic segment. If any of you guys were watching that shit, it's basically just Bachelor but on a podcast, and it's like, fam, if you don't want to do that shit, let me do it. I'd fucking love to do that shit. But I digress. On the latest episode of the H3 Podcast, they started talking about the YouTube Rewind of 2019, which is a glorified Watch Mojo list. You know, everybody was hating on all this stuff, and it was great because it brought up so many memes. I mean, I still unironically use Will Smith stuff like, oh, that's hot, and just going, oh, like I legitimately use that shit. But YouTube wanted to play it safe, so they went vanilla, and then that's what we got. And then it showed a bunch of the lists, and one of the things that it showed, BTS, and that's when Ethan started saying this stuff.
BTS? I don't get the BTS thing. I'm just gonna say it right now. I don't like K-pop. I hate K-pop. I don't get BTS.
K-pop?
They look like they're just a bunch of... How did this become a thing in Western culture where all these grown men and little girls are jerking off to little K-pop boys? It's like a little fetish. It's like a little twink gay fetish about these K-pop boys.
And this is where hashtag H3H3 is over party started. And you need to really understand this about the K-pop stans. They are absolutely toxic and vile on Twitter. I'm sure they're the same way on other websites, but specifically on Twitter, they're notorious. They're infamous for just trying to cancel everybody and being incredibly hostile when anybody says anything negative about K-pop, which is fucking crazy. Because, you know the whole thing, to each their own. Like, clearly some people aren't gonna like K-pop. Like if you think about, say, maybe a country music person, someone who's like in the Midwest, someone that's in the Bible Belt that's just like, oh, I like me some Garth Brooks or some shit. Like he's not gonna like K-pop. He's gonna think it's the gayest shit ever. And so essentially Ethan was playing off that. A clear joke, just being like he doesn't like it and he's just saying what he's saying. But the K-pop stan still cometh.
Dude, people are crazy on Twitter. The K-pop fans, it's so weird. All they do is post a GIF of their favorite like K-pop person dancing, and they go fucking crazy. Like, I'm pretty sure that somebody's going to try to assassinate me.
So it started with number one Yola enthusiast. I have no idea what the hell that means. They shared that little clip and said, little girls are jerking off to little K-pop boys. It's like a little fetish. It's like a twink gay fetish about these K-pop boys. No words. He is straight up xenophobic, homophobic, and more. The fact he said it boldly. The boldly is what gets me, because it's like, y'all niggas know fucking Ethan Klein. The dude just goofs around all the time. It's like, oh, boldly. Like, this is what he truly believes. Like, he tosses and turns at night just thinking about the twink gay fetish that K-pop is. So when I found out that's what it was all about, I decided to share my own tweet, and I wasn't expecting it to get that much traffic. And because of that, of course, K-pop stans slid in my DMs, because my DMs are open, because I think it's hilarious. I love getting random messages. It's a good way to also catch things you might miss, like people, like fan art or people wearing your merch or whatever. It's always just good to have them open and just kind of just check them just in case. They started saying things like, I can't believe you're supporting racist, homophobic, this and this and that, you know, because they're finding whatever they can to try to destroy Ethan for dare talking about their K-pop. And one thing that was notoriously thrown around was a very old clip from, I don't know how old the podcast was, but it was when Post Malone and now Joji was in there, and then Ethan just started saying some edgy stuff.
Or apes or whatever, right? Our Neanderthal cousins were probably just raping like crazy. So there's definitely something like in us to like conquer. Men want to like conquer.
Right.
So it's, you know, women are in a nature setting like to be conquered.
They're acting like he's serious about that. You can even see the little smirk on Ethan's face at the very end. He's clearly joking. Do you think Hila would put up with that shit if he legitimately believed that? Hila is pretty much a feminist without saying, hey, I'm a feminist. She's very, you know, like the ones that you don't mind existing. She's not radical. She's just there, and then I think she believes what she believes, and it's cool as fuck. And there's no way that they would work together if Ethan clearly believed that shit. So sharing clips like that is so just ingenuous. But, you know, I wouldn't expect the K-pop community, at least the stans, to be genuine. Or to be honest, have any integrity. They're just fucking crazy. And I'm probably gonna be killed for saying that. So even though the K-pop stans are trying to cancel Ethan, he's just been having fun with the whole situation. My message to K-pop fans: line up, nerds. If you can't handle your hobby being made fun of a little bit, then you are really just a bunch of little girls jerking off to K-pop boys. So some fancy Korean lady with a blue checkmark quote tweets it and says this: why don't you just call them chinks and get it over with, Ethan? Here's why you can't imagine little girls and grown men jerking off to little K-pop boys. Because you view Asian men as inferior to fine white specimens such as yourself. What? The face when K-pop stans are trying to take the moral high ground over a joke, but are responsible for dozens of suicides of K-pop idols because of their online abuse. I don't know anything about this, and I imagine there's some truth to this, so that's pretty fucking crazy. Shut up, bro. You said people jerk off to kids. Y'all need Jesus.
A few moments later.
I'm being sarcastic, fuckheads. Holy shit, can a man tweet garbage and not be fucking crucified on Twitter in 2019? I have 9 remaining brain cells and I'm fat. And then he shares that it was trending number 5 worldwide, and what do you know? Your boy made a little cameo in the screenshot. But that's pretty much what's come out of it for the most part. There's probably some more notoriety, some other bigger tweets and stuff like that, and I'm sure that H3 will cover it on their podcast, you know, whenever they drop their next one. And I'm serious. I want to be the next Bachelor, you know, like, don't kill the series because Ian didn't want to do it anymore. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you hit the like button because I might get a wave of hate from the K-pop stans, but they're welcome as well. Stay tuned for the next video when we talk about hashtag Sonic is over party. By the way, I'm talking to some bitch on Instagram, and she wanted me to tell you guys that she says hi.